Hello everyone, we have with us today director Mahesh Narayanan, whose film See You Soon is releasing on Amazon Prime Video on September 1. Thank you so much for joining us, Mahesh.
Thank you so much.
So, we all thought that your next film was going to be Malik with Fahad. So, how did this project happen?
So Malik was supposed to release last April, already, but the thing is that due to this COVID situation, theaters are all shut, and we moved into that lockdown stage. So at that, possibly like all filmmakers, whatever it happens, like when we have a film to release and there are no possibilities to release it, filmmakers will tend to go into some sort of depression. And I'm a person who went to that stage very easily. At that point, like Fahad initiated an idea where saying that, okay, why do you remember that video? What we used to talk about much earlier, like that this was actually before takeoff. So then, okay, I went through that video again, and then I thought, okay, let's make it right, and let's do it as a screen-based movie. That's how it happened.
So, did you actually meet in person while doing the film? And can you tell us where the scenes were shot?
No, everything was shot. Like we all were together. Like we moved into a place which is actually near to Fahad's place, and we hired apartments there, and we stayed there. All the crew members were stayed there. Then the entire film is shot in Kochi, and then we moved in. We rehearsed. We tried test shoots because since it's a new format for people, we'll have to do a lot of R&D. So that research and everything was going on. In the meantime, I was working with the drafts, and as you know, like I go with the final draft to shoot. Otherwise, I'm very much insecure. So I need to have that draft ready. So I finally ended up with a 65-page draft. Then we were all ready, and Darsana came on board, Roshan came on board. Then happily, then that process started. So it was like more like directing a normal film like that.
Okay. So, it appears to be a story on a relationship, on an online relationship, which takes a very dark turn. So, was there anything from real life that inspired the story?
Some incidents which happened to some of my friends were actually reflected in some way or the other. But moreover, it's like a fictional take, and there are more relevant issues which are not seen in the trailer, which are not shown in the trailer. Much more to come, which you have to witness while watching the film.
Okay. And was it very hard to tell the story through screens, because there is so much that you can't include, right? Because it shouldn't come out looking forced or gimmicky.
Yeah.
So was that hard to do?
The writing is very tough, because for writing a screen media, the main thing actually for a director is the camera, the vision. That is not with us actually. It is with the characters. So there should be a purpose of like turning on this camera. So that is the tricky part. And also there are a lot of backstories, reading between the lines, like reading between the scenes, which has to be mentioned properly, so that the characters will enact it or they will rehearse it themselves, and then they try to perform it out. Then me being an editor is the toughest thing here, where I am very precise about what I want and what I want to take, and stitch it like that. So shooting was much easier for me, but the post-production was really tough. It was really tough.
Yeah, I was just about to say that your experience as an editor must have really come in handy, putting together a film like this.
Yeah, this is because editing, because this is not a conventional process of editing, because every time two actors are there, just like how we are talking. Every time we both are there in the frame, and then then I have to recompose, I have to reframe. So the entire cinematography process again happens in the edit table. So then I edit it, then again I go into the cinematography version. We magnify things, we enhance ideas, then we rework on the edit, then we come back again. So it is it is basically a tiring thing, but I'm very much into that kind of an type where I'm learning a lot of things. So that learning was the real excitement and kick for me. That okay.
So there are films like Searching which have experimented with this technique earlier. So are you worried about comparisons being made?
The format, it's a format. So this started for a long time. If you look at it, 2002, there is a film called the Collingswood Story. I don't know whether you're familiar with the film. Right? And then there is Unfriended coming up. Then Open Windows or something like that. Face to Face, there's one film. Like a lot of films made, but not many. But Searching is a refined form of all these films. So after Searching, I think that the same producer of Searching tried a film called Profile. that is not seen much in the platforms, but it's again a heart-eating thing. Then there is a short film called Noah. So there are a lot of, and there is an episode Modern Family where it comes with these gadgets and all. So this is actually not a perfect format. This is still like a lot of people are researching on it. So people can draw comparisons with any format. Like form is actually like, if you say like when an Amaros Piros came, then the multiple narrative format started. So like that. So it is like a new form coming into filmmaking style, which has got a lot of innovative things to the new kind of people. I am not talking about the new kind of people, but the kind of audience who are actually exposed to these kind of virtual communication devices.
So Fahad has a huge fan following outside Kerala as well. So what sort of actor is he to direct?
This is a close friend. I don't rate him. He has been like with me for my first film onwards. Even before my first film, like Malik is the first thought. I'm not talking especially as Malik, because it was termed as a different film. Like we are talking about that film from 2011 during Natholi BKP's film onwards. And I have edited a lot of his films. So it is like we have daily based friendship. So we argue, we fight, it's like that only. It's not like working like an actor director and all. So it's like more
like okay. Yeah, like you said, you worked with him so many times. So have you figured out how to get the best out of him?
I don't know. Everybody has their own rules. Like when Fahad speaks, like Fahad always says that whenever he wants to come and act with me, like he comes with a blank slate, because I'm very much precise on my kind of performance. I'm never satisfied, because I keep my actors very much restricted between my scissors. I will tell blankly saying that okay, I'm not going to use that. Please don't do that. It is not coming in the edit. I'm sure about it. Like that, I shoot for my edit. So I'm in that way. I don't know. I'm more like a preconceived person where I frame everything for my final editing setup. So my final draft, the final script is generated from my editing table, like that.
Okay. And what about Darshana and Roshan? Both of them are young actors, but they've done a vast variety of roles.
I've seen plays of Roshan and Darshana. They are really talented people. So when this idea came to our mind, we don't have much options. Also, like the straight character options. What me and Fahad discussed was Roshan and Darshana, because we know these guys like for a long time, but I haven't worked with them. That's it. But we've seen a lot of interact with them. We have seen their plays. So you see, everything. So when you look at the virtual devices, the screen devices, the very first thing which has to be perfect is the realism, because when we talk very close to the phone, it looks very real. It is going to be very real. So any kind of artificial gimmick or anything which is going away from the storyline will actually distract the audience. So my focus was basically tell the story, even though my format is new. I've never used any kind of a gimmick in the story. Like I've followed the story within that. So I feel that during this structure, normally when you write a film or write a play or write anything, like they have this 3-act structure, right? Like we have the first act, second act. So for this salon, we have a first act where we have to give some kind of an introduction to this new format also. For that, I have spent some time for people to get used to this format. Once they are used to this, and once this inciting incident happens, then people will forget this format and people will follow the story. That's my gut feel. I don't know that people should say after the release.
Okay, so the visuals from Malik created a big splash when they came out online, and with Fahad looking completely transformed. So, is there anything that you can tell us about the film?
See, Malik is a period drama, and it is actually from 1968 to 2018. And it is a wider film. It is and it is made on a larger canvas. It has got like 3 times the budget of Takeoff. So and like the same producer has been behind the film in terms of funding and all the coordination, all the stuff like that. And we are waiting for the theaters to open, because and I'm pretty sure about it. Just because Malik is the film which I have right now, which is ready. I don't have a fear about this expiry date of a content, because Malik has been told, he has got that kind of a meat where at any day it can actually connect to people, and it deals with the current socio-political situation what Kerala is facing also right now. So in terms of like all my films will have such kind of a connection also. So in that terms also, Fahad has taken a lot of effort. My DOP has taken a lot of effort. Art department, everybody has taken a lot of effort. The only thing is that we got stuck in the lockdown and we couldn't release the film. That's the problem.
Yeah. So I was just getting to that. Across industries, people have been releasing films on OTT platforms, but in Kerala, there is this diktat that films, they shouldn't go for direct OTT, skipping the theatrical release.
Mm.
So what do you feel about that? There's only one Malayalam film, I think, which has come on OTT, Sufiyum Sujati. And I think you also faced some issues when you were going to shoot lockdown.
Swami, the problem is actually all the films which are made, including my film, they are not made for OTT. They are made for theatrical things. And Malayalam cinema was in a leap for discovering new generation, new revenues. My first film, Takeoff, actually collected more than what it collected from Kerala in GCC alone. So that means that it's a big revenue which which my producer is missing right now. So the thing is that's why the budget and everything is getting slightly higher now. So the problem what happens is that none of the producers are really agreeing to get away with that money. Like I mean, it's not about money also in terms of the scale and everything. That experience has to be there. And also like I'm being straight. In terms of regional industry, Malayalam cinema is compared as a very sidelined industry. So in that way also, we are not getting that much money for a Gunjan Saxena or some other films which are made just like average budget films for a Dharma film or any other film. But still we are fighting. So my thing is that this is for the time being thing. For during this pandemic period, at least 50-member crew is allowed. 50-member people are allowed to film a film and film a process. So at least for these 50 members, if something is getting paid for them, then that is fine, right? That is actually a good thing. So Fahad actually did a good thing that Fahad actually paid all of them because whatever they require for a regular film. So he paid all of them because that is the main thing what we aim with See You Soon, that we achieved.
Okay. And do you see Malayalam cinema achieving a lot of attention globally? Now we see a lot of these films going to international film festivals. So is that something that filmmakers are deliberately doing to make the industry more visible? Because I think abroad there is this assumption that Bollywood is Indian cinema. So are there efforts to?
Not that something like Malayalam cinema has been competing in film festivals for a long time. Like if you look at Adur's time or Aravindan sir's time, like T. Chandran, Murli, like a lot of filmmakers. But only thing is that they were not commercial cinema. They were not mainstream cinema. They were like parallel cinemas. Now this line between parallel cinema and the mainstream cinema is just slowly diminishing. So in that way, there is an amalgamation which is happening. So that is the main thing where a film like Muton, a film like any other even if religious films, like they are getting attention abroad also for their visual aesthetics and also the artistic things. But the problem is that like I can't afford. See, I'm getting a lot of inquiries from Malik for festivals, but I can't afford sending my films to festivals because we need a theatrical release first. That's a main problem. So even Takeoff also, I've received a lot of things in China, in a lot of film festivals. But the problem is we can only give these films to the film festival platforms only after the release of the film. So that is the problem. So we won't compete for major film festivals. That is also another reason.
Okay. We just have 5 rapid fire questions for you. One film which always made you cry.
Bicycle Thieves.
One actor, male or female, that you really want to work with.
I can't answer that. I don't know. Like I don't know.
Can be from any industry.
No, it is not about one particular actor. It is about the content. It is about the writer. Like writers, basically. That is like.
One thing you hate about film critics. I'm sure there are lots, but you can just tell us one.
Like, criticism is. I'm a great fan of critics. Actually, like I like criticism. I myself is a critic, so I like being criticized. I'm okay with it.
All right. Your favorite dish?
I don't know. Anything what I cook, I cook myself. So anything.
And one last thing, one thing you really want to do once this lockdown is over, this pandemic is over.
Travel is the best thing. We have been
Oh,
locked down. Travel.
okay. Thank you very much for your time, Mahesh, and wish you all the best for see you soon. And Onam Ashamshagal to you in advance.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.